Hey, what up, family? Doesn't it seem suspicious, odd, and a little conspiratorial that a lot of crypto CEOs and founders and other people that provide alternative ways to the traditional banking systems have all suddenly passed away? Now, what do we know and what do we not know? Now, you have people like the Cash App founder who just recently passed as well. Now, news of deaths of two major cryptocurrency CEOs in 1 week has fueled a spate of conspiratorial claims and narrative purporting sinister links between their passing and of other billionaires and multi-millionaires from other industries over the years. Mind you, these people are worth millions and billions of dollars, and suddenly they're passing. Now, anybody can pass at any time. Death has no date for nobody. But it just seems a bit odd that all these people are all in the same field of providing some form of digital currency, an alternative to the traditional banking system in different countries or different places around the world. And they all die within or around the same time of each other, except for one who passed away about 8 years ago. And she was the start off of all this digital currency online. Now it said, but these two right here passed within the same week. One was Titian Kalandar and Vyacheslav Taran. Sorry if I slashed them names, who both died within past fortnight, had fortune estimated to be worth billions of dollars, and are now at the center of new conspiracy narratives on social media, despite limited to no evidence to either died as a result of a plot against them or foul play. It follows only a month after a millionaire cryptocurrency developer, Nikolai Michigan, 29, drowned in Puerto Rico. So two had passed within the same week, and then a third one within the same month just drowned in Puerto Rico. Bit weird that these three just passed within the same month. Now their passing prompted some people online to search back the other mysterious or unexplained passings and other disappearances, again with little to connect these individuals beyond the resources of or the source of their wealth, which is the digital currency or other alternatives to the banking system. And of course you would connect them to that because you will see what all these people have in common. That's what everybody looks for. Even if you're looking for a serial killer, you'll see what is the thing he does that's so common about all his passings or his deaths that he's done. And a lot of times you will see what do these people have in common, and all these people have in common the fact that they all deal with cryptocurrency. Now it says the validity of cryptocurrency is various adjacent scandals and its touted utility as a decentralized alternative to traditional banking systems with vast potential for money laundering has invited dramatic conversation with wild theorizing, even with evidence is either lacking or non-existent. Reports of any new passings these conversations show are ripe for exploitation by conspiratorial minded. So they're saying that people with conspiracy minded people would literally look at all this and think that all this is a conspiracy, at the fact that all these people that deal with alternatives to the banking system are somehow on a hit list. But it does seem like a conspiracy because all this is happening like back to back. And it could be that, or could be not that. Only God knows. But it does seem a bit weird and a bit odd. With this in mind, Newsweek explored the history building up to the recent events in an attempt to pick apart some of these threats. So Newsweek is planning to, this article is from Newsweek, they're planning to try to pick this apart to figure out what's going on. Now, among the earliest to pass fueled speculation in some conspiracy theory circles, and there's that the 20-year-old Rodham, who died in 2014, the CEO of currency exchange First Meta, PTE Ltd, REC, died in Singapore with Singapore coroner ruling her passing as she offed herself. Now, this is a billionaire who supposedly offed herself, and she was one of the first people to start one of these digital currencies online. But a lot of people stated there was speculation accounts surrounding her passing, with one article by Slate stating that her passing seemed a bit rash, and it does. Despite the conclusion of the coroner, it seems that Raddick has been singled out misleading as being connected to the recent passings, even though she passed more than 8 years ago. Now, another one was Gerald Cohen. Among the most controversial passings in the cryptocurrency industry was that of Gerald Cohen, the founder of CXX, once Canada's largest cryptocurrency exchange, who passed during his honeymoon with his wife, Jennifer Robertson, in India in 2018. They said he passed at age 30 from complications related to Crohn's disease, and his wife returned to Canada with his body. That is very, very sad. Now, however, an investigation by the Ontario Security Commission, it was discovered that Quadra CSX was essentially a Ponzi scheme. That's what they try to say to, I guess, devalue the man, or try to say that this man, it could have been, which a lot of people do that as well with this whole cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of them that has crashed, except for like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But a lot of them, their owners had died mysteriously or randomly. You have here Matthew Mellon, the same year Matthew Mellon, a banking hair and crypto billionaire, died unexpectedly. Mellon reportedly had long-standing issues with drugs, supposedly. His net worth on paper was reported by money to be around $1 billion. Both he and Gerald Cohen have been drawn in conspiratorial claims about their passings. An unnamed source told the Daily Mail in 2018 about their suspicions that Mellon may have been offed or murdered for his cryptocurrency. Hundreds of millions of dollars are missing, possibly forever, they said. Matthews also said that they were out to get him. Perhaps he was right. However, these allegations remain unevidenced and isn't linked to the same type of conspiratorial claims that surround the deaths of other crypto billionaires. I mean, it all seems a bit weird that they're all just being offed within the past couple years and like back to back. 3 years later, in 2021, Romanian Bitcoin investor Mircea Pasca died, leaving a fortune thought to be worth more than $2 billion, according to a variety of media. The figure appears to be based on his estimated holdings of 30,000 Bitcoin at what was cryptocurrency's peak before his passing. Pavia was said to have drowned. This guy drowned too, off Costa Rica, with reports stating he had swept away by a current, according to Costa Rican broadcaster Teletican. Dag, so a lot of these guys are somehow randomly drowning, mysteriously drowning. Oh man, there's controversy surrounding the most recent cryptocurrency billionaire's deaths, with some noting that similarities between his drowning and that of Nicola, Michigan. However, there appeared to be substantial grounds to believe that his death indeed an accidental. So they claim that his passing was accidental. It reported that lifeguards near the beach where he drowned, Playa Hermosa, said it was not a swimming area. Now, forgive me if I mispronounce some of these names or skip past them because I can't pronounce them. In addition, they recommended never entering the sea alone without lifeguards, people, or sufferers nearby to ask for help in case of an emergency. Now, think about it. These people are billionaires. Billionaires. How are they drowning off the coast of somewhere without no security around them or people around them? This would strongly support the idea that was caused by swimming in dangerous waters, who previously identified themselves as functional head. So this man just was swimming and then randomly just drowned. The greatest man who ever, because the waters were dangerous, supposedly. People are saying that these people, I mean, the more I read about these people, they were all remarkable people. They were all trying to make a change in the world, and they were all coming up with an alternative to the traditional banking system. And I mean, it seemed like our government is going in that same route as well, but they just want to make sure that they're the only big players in the world that's doing this, it seemed like. But other countries are starting to adopt and do the same thing as well. So it's a hard game to call. It's like a toss-up in the air on what this could really be. Now, the first among the group of notable crypto entrepreneurs who died this year was Nicola Michigan. Michigan was, according to CoinDesk, an earlier developer of MakerDAO, described as the largest decentralized finance protocol, a type of financial technology designed to remove third parties and centralized institutions from monetary transactions. An article paywalled by a Puerto Rican newspaper, El Nueve, published on the day of his passing, stated that Puerto Rico Police Department said Mushunga was swept away by sea currents on Canado Beach in San Juan. This man supposedly died by sea currents. According to the police report, the incident was reported at 9:15 a.m. when authorities were alerted that the man identified as Nicola has been dragged. In translation of the article, rescue personnel managed to rescue his body that no longer showed vital signs. So man had passed. It said the CIA and Mossad elite are running some kind of Earlier that day, Mushigan published a paranoid message purporting threats to his life on the Twitter page. Almost missed that. And it said, this is what he put on there: the CIA and the Mossad and pedo elite are running some kind of eggs trafficking, entrapment, blackmailing ring out of Puerto Rico and the Caribbean island. Sick, his last tweet stated. So think about this. This man's last tweet, before he passed, before he supposedly drowned in the water, said, the CIA and the Mossad and the pedo, or, elite, running some kind of trafficking, entrapment, blackmailing ring out of Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands, his last tweet stated. They are going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend, who was a spy. They will torture him, he said, to his passing. A follow-up, November 9, 2022, New York Post reported that San Juan police had confirmed to the tabloids that Michigan's death is still under investigation, but is not considered a homicide at present, of course. A November 4, 2022 article by Crypto News Index also claimed that its journalists had obtained San Juan police record that indicated investigators had found no evidence of foul play. Police found no signs of violence during a preliminary examination of Michigan's body, though he did suffer a small laceration to the skull, it stated. How can he suffer a small laceration to the skull if he was just swimming? Michigan had previously posted other tweets about a fraud cartel targeting him, among other conspiratorial tweets. However, following his passing, friend and crypto billionaire Brock Pierce told New York Post his mother clarified that his passing had nothing to do with his conspiracy tweets. He was a beautiful man and a child at heart. He was also an incredible visionary. I don't call brilliant people brilliant very often, but Nikolai was very brilliant, and the brilliant people sometimes walk the edge of insanity. Sometimes that is true too. The article also says that Pierce came to believe that drowning was neither accidental nor the result of foul play, and that it was self-inflicted. So they basically say that he drowned himself, basically. That's what they're trying to say. It was self-inflicted that he drowned. Think about that. Intelligence agencies are not hunting down crypto pioneers. And it could be true. Intelligence agencies are not hunting down crypto pioneers. If the government were knocking off people in this field, I would know. If nonetheless triggered other tweets from crypto community expressing suspicious of foul play That's what people, I guess, was tweeting. They said the beach where his body was found was reportedly supposed to have been dangerous. An article of flow suit manufacturer a wartime titled Drowning Crisis on Puerto Rico Beach is stated that Condo Beach, a favorite tourist destination, there is at least one drowning every 3.5 days. Wow. So it could be true he drowned. I don't know. But these guys are supposed to be billionaires. They're supposed to have people watching them at all times. Like, if I was a billionaire, I would have people watching me at all times. It's supposed to be safe. In an interview for the piece, head lifeguard Gabriel Swan said on a busy day we can have 5 drownings, he said. Only God knows. So, another person, Vashalanan Toronto, November 25th, 2022, Forex Club founder and billionaire Vashalanan Toronto, who had invested in the blockchain-linked projects, died in a helicopter crash near his home in southeastern France. The Russian embassy confirms the death and passing of Tehran in a helicopter crash that occurred on Friday in the area of... So this man passed as well in a helicopter crash. So, I mean, that could be true, but just so weird and odd and suspicious that all these guys, whether they're Russian, Italian, Canadian, American, or wherever they're from, and they all started the same thing, all somehow passed. Now, it said only officially these 5 Forex dealers owe their investors 35 million rubles. The outlet wrote, how much money was pulled out of the wallets of Russian citizens in reality, no one knows. That is why Tehran has many dissatisfied clients and enemies in Russia who could well get him abroad. So they're saying that he was also involved in illegal activity and all that. I don't know why they don't get these people when they know that they were involved in illegal activity. How do you pronounce all this after they died? If you knew that they were involved in illegal activity, they should have been took off the street. These are completely unfounded fabrications and outright lies which have compounded our grief at a very difficult time. The family added there was nothing mysterious about his passing, and everyone should wait until the investigation is fully completed before jumping into conclusions about speculating about crazy conspiracy theories. Above all, he was loyal and supportive friend, husband, and father, and we would all politely request that his memory is not dishonored by false information or baseless speculation. They added the fact that he supposedly bribed a bunch of people and had charges and he was doing these crimes. And I agree with her, because if he did do all that, why didn't they put charges on him while he was alive? Whether his death was directly related to his cryptocurrency side of his business is unknown, although he is now among more than a dozen Russian businessmen representing industries like fossil fuels, transportation, and media who have passed under sometimes suspicious circumstances, with several bearing a track record of criticism toward Russian government, the war, President Vladimir Putin, and Putin don't play, but this ain't got nothing to do with Putin right now. However, so close to his passing, the conspiratorial narratives around Tehran's passing appear, at least on the surface, to be premature. There's also no known evidence linking his tragic accident to other passings mentioned here. Tanayan Kalinger, another person, the same week of Tehran's death, Tanayan Kalinger, a co-founder of digital asset company Amber Group, passed in his sleep on November 23, 2022. According to Amber Group press release, his company was said to have been valued at $3 billion. A statement by Amber Group, it is the deepest sadness. So how did he pass? TT, as he was lovingly known, was instrumental to his founding of Amber and a pillar of his success. He put his heart out to the company. He led by example and generosity. So this young, healthy-looking man had passed. And it said, nonetheless, his death is being treated by conspiracy theories as suspicious, with claims that Big Brother probably got him. Tehran and Michigan, these claims are presented without evidence. Again, there is nothing to corroborate the insinuation of foul play. Indeed, with his announced so recently, the only information out there appears speculative. Why have these theories taken root? They say the account that tied together the passing of these wealthy crypto investors and figureheads appeared to be opportunistic attempt to carve a narrative based on little more than suspicion, a common basis for conspiracy theories to flourish. Cryptocurrency communities have often found bonds in anti-establishment causes and philosophies, skeptical of traditional banking systems, seeking to engineer alternatives to centralized monetary institutions and financial routes. That sounds like a big threat to all governments around the world with central banking systems. Don't nobody want anybody to have an alternative to what they already got, especially if they're already running the show around the world. So somehow they will disrupt that and come out with their own version. Seems logical, because that's what they've always done, even with inventions and everything else. Look at Nikola Tesla's inventions. All got knocked out of play, not to be messed with, and the man was loony and crazy when the whole time. Everything that we're using today is because of his ideas and his inventions. But these can be only conspiracy theories right now, because our governments don't look into nobody. They're only worrying about the drug dealer selling a couple nickel bags of weed, and the person that's speeding, and the person that's arguing with his wife, and the person that's doing petty crimes out here. Like, it's really real things going on around the world, and these are things that need to be investigated and looked into, especially if it's things that can save people's freedoms or can save the country. Because think about it, these alternatives can also save the country in a way as well, because the government can also work with one of these currencies that's already really launching like that, and somehow come together to come out with an opportunistic way to help society, not control society. But with this new way, they will be able to control society and everything that works with it, because with the Cash App founder passing, now they'll be able to track every single move that you make as far as using their new FedNow app, because they came out with their new Cash App version. But it's crazy that all these cryptocurrency owners all passed within years or weeks or even months away from each other. And it seems to be a conspiracy in that, or at least that's what they claim. But a lot of people in this is saying that these cases are very suspicious, because it seems like somebody's death is being staged so that way they can abscond with the crypto assets that are generally unregulated and can be difficult to trace or difficult to tax and monitor. The recent collapse of FTX pays further heed to this and further strokes public interest in the subject. Once one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, it was brought down following a scandal involving its former CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, who was a scammer. FTX connection to American politics has already laid the ground for new misleading narratives tying the purported special interests of the U.S. and Ukrainian governments. Earlier this year, the collapse of Terra USD and its sister cryptocurrency Luna led to panic across the crypto markets, and again further suspicion that its top players were withholding information from its investors worldwide. Professor Avi Gerardo Kosmico of Washington College of Law, who teaches virtual currency, told Newsweek that cryptocurrency infancy was perhaps a key factor in fomenting conspiracy narratives. It may be argued that crypto draws conspiracy theories because crypto and its related industries are still relatively new and well understood, even by crypto investors. Not well understood. In addition to data, it has tended to attract founders and management who are outside normal corporate and financial service industry circles. Further, the crypto industry may be viewed as an existing outside regulatory systems and structures and have been a degree of libertarian mythology surrounding them. Finally, most cryptocurrencies are not public companies subject to extensive public disclosure requirements, so there is a lack of public information about their activities. Cosmico added that the recent spate of crypto trading exchange failures such as FTX crypto bankruptcy had publicly exposed the contagion that could spread through dozens of other companies as a result. This had all resulted in discussion and speculation about a secretive industry with many hidden cross-industry links. Kristen Cataline, founder of MIT Crypto Economics Lab, told Newsweek that while he wasn't sure whether cryptocurrency is more or less susceptible to conspiracy theories these days in other parts of society, from politics to the jabs, a lack of regulation and responsible financial management had exaggerated damage in headlines. There have been dramatic failures within crypto with Luna, FTX, as well as some other bankruptcies we've seen this year, but just reflects the low quality and unregulated nature of these participants, he said. In any case, the perceived, in some cases, materials risk inherent in the cryptocurrency businesses along the notions of distrust. Some of its proponents, false or have arguably helped create the ideal climate for conspiracy theorizing. The claims collecting the recent and historical deaths of some of its bigger investors appear to be symptomatic of that and are, at best, based or entirely speculation. Newsweek has reached out to Andrew W. Mellon, Foundation Libertex, Amber Group, Bitinfex, a former associate of Autumn Rack, and contact address associated with Quadrake for comment. Well, I guess they didn't get no comment because they didn't continue this article. But it's funny how they just went into talking about a whole bunch of things that didn't have nothing to do with the suspicion of these people's passing, or the fact on why it is a conspiracy that all these people passed, and didn't connect nothing with nothing. They just went to talking about a whole bunch of things that didn't have nothing to do with the beginning of this article. It's like the article was made to make us forget what the whole beginning of this article just said. And that was naming over 5, 6, 7 people that all had passed back to back, and they all work within the cryptocurrency field. Seems a bit mysterious, seems a bit suspicious, seems a bit weird, seems a bit odd, and seems a bit conspiratorial. I don't know. You be the judge. Let me know in the comment section.